Yeah. We're just having a bad day, people. Sometimes it happens.
Yep. Yeah, we're
I
back on
have no
Twitch.
control over upgrading my service, okay? I'm working with what I got.
Back on D Live and a new YouTube stream.
Yep. If this was within my control, it would have been solved by now.
Here, I'll put a link to it. Okay.
Where were we?
We're back for now.
Yeah.
We were discussing the fact that it is really weird that they're releasing this game only on Apple devices.
Yeah, like... I don't know. I get it. There's a lot of people on Apple who spend a lot of money, but it actually kind of feels like you're not going for a wider audience. It actually feels like you're going for a tighter audience.
Mm-hmm. Well, but like I said, there's 1.5 zillion iOS devices. I don't know. Yeah, well, it'll be nice if they come out with it for PC on Steam or Switch or something.
No, that's what I definitely want. I mean, I don't even really want it on the phone. I was willing to play it on the phone if it was going to be on one I already had, but I'm not buying an iPhone just to play that game.
Yeah. Now what did was it GMT who said Miracast? Yeah, so Miracast is Android only, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, if it only comes out on iOS and Mac, I will have to get it on one of those and presumably use Reflector, which is a nice little app that I use to display actually either iOS or my Mac on PC.
Mm.
But
how many people have more than one Apple device, though? Actually, most people who have an Apple device have more than one Apple device. That's actually a common thing. Because Apple consumers tend to be big spenders, and if they have one thing, they want stuff that communicate together.
Yeah. Actually, I have 4 if you include Apple TV, but I don't have that hooked up.
Yeah.
I'm an iOS snob. Definitely a Mac snob.
Well, they kind of do that to you too, because they try to make it to where they only communicate with Apple products, and people want things to communicate with each other. So they're like, you need to make everything Apple so you have this streamless experience or seamless experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. That's the goal. It's ingenious.
Especially when you sell yourself as a luxury product, too. And that means the more you have of it, the better off you are.
Mm-hmm. Of course, all of mine are very, very old, so one of these days I'll have to start upgrading.
Yeah. I think currently I only own a single Apple product. And it's because I still have, like, an iPod Nano. Which is, I think, it's either a Nano 3 or a Nano 4. I think it's a 3, because I think the 4 was the one where it was basically just the screen, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think because the 3, I have the one that still has the turn wheel.
Oh, wow.
Playing stuff. It's my favorite Apple device, and it's probably going to remain my favorite Apple device forever.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I actually really like the old iPods. I mean, the iPods were great. I understand how they evolved into this disaster that was made now because of the way the company went, but as a device, I really like the iPod line.
Yep. Now they're all phones. Do they even sell just iPads? No, I don't think they do.
I don't know.
They just sell phones.
The iPod Touch just evolved into a phone and never went back.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What is it? GMT says the only Apple product I'd like to own is one of the toilet seats, and I'd hack some decent hardware into it. Apple makes toilet seats?
I don't know.
This is new information.
The Apple toilet. It will process your poop for you afterwards to tell how healthy you are. Eventually, that everybody's toilets are going to do that, which I don't like the idea because it's going to be hooked up to some network, and then the government will be able to tell everything they need to know about you from your shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I see some smart bidets.
Oh, there was a laptop ages ago that looked like a toilet seat.
Oh. Here's a picture of a toilet that has like an iPod built into it. It says iToilet.
Do you know, like...
I don't think it's...
Facebook knows when you take a shit.
Oh?
Yeah, like, they know so much about you, right? Even if you're not on Facebook, because they get this information from everywhere else and also from people you're connected to, that they can accurately predict when you're taking a shit.
That's why I've tried.
Destroyed.
I try to be unpredictable with my bowel movements. Yeah. Sometimes I hold it in for a while. Sometimes I don't want Facebook tracking me.
I don't want anyone tracking me. But, I'm on the internet, so they can at least tell where I am. Because through IP, I mean, I could always use a VPN, but those are only successful to some degree. If somebody really wants to track you, they can backtrace the VPN. They just have to know they're looking for you.
I'd say only Pinterest is allowed to know when I take a shit. That's it. Instagram,
how about
no.
Snapchat, because Snapchat deletes everything afterwards, so they don't keep an archive of it.
Yeah. No, Snapchat knows when I pee.
Yeah. Snapchat knows when my friend Dylan Toomey pees, because he sends it to everybody.
I have Snapchat on my phone, but I've never actually used it. But I'm constantly getting, I guess I must have logged into it at one point. So I constantly get, so-and-so is on Snapchat. So-and-so is on Snapchat. I'm like, I don't even know who you're talking about, but I guess it's somebody from my contact list or whatever. Yeah. Like, I have never used it, not even once.
I don't even have it on my phone anymore. I kind of uninstalled it because I just had a friend who kept sending me videos of him pissing. And that was like the only thing I ever got from that app.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
They'll have to know when IP. It's the nature of the network. Yeah. Touche, GMT. All right. What else? Yeah. What else is new?
So here's something that it actually makes sense what you read into it, but the headline alone is hilarious. Sinking City developer uses DMCA request to get its own game removed from Steam.
I saw this story. This is bizarre. This is bizarre from top to bottom.
Yeah, like, the more you get into it, the more it makes sense of, like, why they had to do it. But, like, the headline just gets you the second you see it. Like, it's not even clickbait either. It's just a very witty headline because it's perfectly describing the situation.
And with recent stuff going on with YouTube, you'd think, like, maybe it was a mistake, like, they accidentally did. No, they intended.
It's the only way they could.
But, go ahead. Do you want to...
Yeah, so Valve had to remove the Sinking City from digital storefront Steam after the company received...
That's good.
Yeah, they did. They actually did remove it. After a DMCA request was sent from the game developer Frogwares. And what happened was the original game's publisher, Nacon, or Nacon, I don't know how that's pronounced, apparently hacked and pirated the game because they felt like it was still theirs, even though they don't have the right to do it anymore, and then uploaded that pirated version to Steam under their publisher against the law. And Frogware basically had to send the claim out to get this game that was illegally uploaded to Valve taken down. They're like, yo, what the fuck, man? Right. This is our game. What are you doing?
Yeah, now, let's see here. What was the name of the publisher again? I wanna out them here, because they're bastards.
Nacon. I don't know if it's Nacon, Nacon. I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced.
It's a French. They're French, right?
Oh, then it's probably Nacon.
Publisher. Yeah, Nacon. So I saw this.
You can make the C sound, Nacon. Yeah.
Right. So I saw this story, I guess, earlier in the week that so Nacon downloaded it, bought it legally off of the Epic Game Store, I believe they figured out.
Yeah.
Then they somehow, and Frogwares apparently knows how, but they're not saying.
Yeah.
Somehow they had a decryption key to decrypt the compiled game. And then, retract my base. Well, the developer's French too, I believe.
Yeah.
So they were actually able to decrypt the game, pull out any references to, like, I guess Frogwares had a new publisher. I think they must have had some sort of dispute. So they pulled out all references to, like, the new publisher and, like, put in their own name. Like, put in pictures, like, of the splash screen with their own name on it and all this stuff. And then they managed to, like, rip out, like, all this, like, online anti-piracy stuff that was in there as well. And then they uploaded it to Steam under their name, and they were selling it.
French pirates.
It was like, so let me back up. They're in court, right? So Frogwares, I don't remember who's suing who, but a court decided that that Nikon was not allowed to sell this game for whatever reason. I guess they had some sort of stay or what? Anyway, I guess maybe Frogwares is suing them for whatever reason, and the court decided, no, you cannot have this game, Nikon. It doesn't belong to you. So in order to get around it, hey, it's me, Marsupial Gamer. In order to get around it, they pirated the game and they uploaded it to Steam and they were selling it.
Yep.
It's like, how did they think they were going to get away with that?
I don't know.
So you say that they, I just checked on Steam. It's not there anymore.
Which is good. See, this is what the DMCA is actually supposed to be for.
Mm-hmm.
We don't ever get it used for what it's supposed to be used for, but hey, once is better than nothing.
Yeah, so that's good. I mean, obviously, I don't know all of the legal details, but I mean, it seemed pretty shady that. I mean, it was a given that the court decided you can't do this, and then they did it anyway.
Yeah.
So. Thanks. You putting my name under there?
Oh, I'm gonna put my name under there on the other side too. When it's only the two of us, I don't know why I don't have our names here.
That's cool. Should have sold it on Origin. I feel like it was already. It's already a multi-platform game.
Yeah.
And I feel like it may already. In fact, I'm not entirely sure if. Yeah, it's already there. Correctly, from the actual developer. So I couldn't remember if they downloaded it from Origin or if they downloaded it from Epic, but they downloaded it from one of those two, and then basically proceeded to crack it and pirate it and upload it to Steam. Crazy. How in the world did they think they'd get away with it? And apparently the Frogwares people have contacts that basically said, this was an order from the CEO. Like, he told his developers to do this.
It's because they're French, that's why. See, the only problem with the name tags are, though, that if you turn off your camera, for any reason, it'll switch the location list, and then have to switch them back.
Yeah. That's weird. Why does it do that?
It's just the way Discord works. It prioritizes cameras at the front of the queue, and then it'll do it in alphabetical order. So because you're M, and mine is, yeah.
Yours is T.
Yep, for the metal.
Although, even if you didn't have the, you'd still come after me.
Well, it depends. If I went by my actual username, it's I'm a Demetal, which would push me first. Yeah.
And for some reason, you're still over here. Even though, to me, it looks like you're over here. Let's see if I pointed in the right direction. Yes, I did. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, well, see, to burn it into the video, because these aren't different boxes, that we'd each have to put our name tag in our own video. Which for Mars to do that, I think you'd probably have to be using a virtual webcam or something like that.
Maybe, I don't know if Chroma Cam can do that.
I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
I blame
it's just showing. Oh, look at that! It is showing something. Showing the Chroma Cam logo. I could probably do that.
We should just wear signs hanging from our neck with our names on it. Like at handles.
So I probably could do that, but I'd have to pay for Chroma Cam Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could put my name on it. So I could also do other stuff like moving backgrounds and stuff.
Name hats. That's what we need. We just need to wear hats with our names on them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I want a buckler hat so badly. Seriously, I think it looks cool.
Yeah. No, it's a good hat.
I did order some stickers and stuff, so looking forward to those.
Yeah,
if it ever gets you.
He doesn't want money. He doesn't want you to be able to buy his hat.
I know. Well, I bought stickers and a poster or something. I don't remember, but it should be getting here in the mail any day now.
Why could he never wear it on stream though?
Why couldn't I wear the buckler hat on stream?
Maybe Dillard would DMCA you.
Probably would.
Yeah.
Almost definitely. He says you can have your names tattooed onto your foreheads. That's a good idea.
I think I'll just stick with like permanent marker because that's not as permanent as you think it is. I could just wash it off afterwards.
Because I couldn't wear it because I'm not the buckler. So only the buckler's allowed to wear buckler hats?
That may
makes sense.
I guess it's no problem that I'm wearing this shirt because at the moment I pretty much am the Fighters Guild. There's like a few other members, but it's mostly me.
First rule of Fighters Guild: talk about Fighters Guild.
Oh yeah, well because it's not like a secret or anything, so they're actually trying to recruit as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You'd wear a boot like on your head? What are you, Vermin Supreme?
Boot full of Baileys.
Yeah. But you want to at least drink the Baileys first.
GMT, how soon you abandon name hats. No, I think we agreed that the name hat is the best solution.
Yeah, I do think that's better because I could always just take a hat off instead of permanently tattooing it to my head. Yeah, we should actually. That's a good idea from Buck. We should just make you a hat that looks like a what's it called? A wallaby's head.
From his description, it sounds more like Goofy.
Yeah.
But sure. Different kind of boot from his.
Yeah, doesn't like Vermin Supreme, doesn't he have just like a galosh or whatever it's called? What are those?
Yeah,
he just had like one of those on his head.
I don't know, like in Animal Crossing, they call it a welly.
The welly.
Kind of like our big old fishing boot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what else is new?
A lot of things. So here's something that I'm like, why are you wasting your time doing this? I guess because the wider audience. But you know how like Nintendo and Microsoft have actually been on really good terms with each other lately?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to see them do more things together, especially because there's one property that Microsoft owns that I would really like to see be a game again. And that's the Banjo-Kazooie series. But instead of doing stuff like that, like, totally just get Rare and maybe Retro Studios to work together and just make, like, a Banjo-Kazooie game after Retro finishes Metroid.
Of course.
But get them to work together, make a Banjo-Kazooie game. Or maybe, actually, I don't want a remaster. I would want a whole remake because this game is worse than people remember it be. But do, like, a ground-up remake of Donkey Kong 64. That would be fine. No. Instead, Microsoft is working with Niantic, and they made a demo for a HoloLens version of Pokemon Go. Which, I mean, I guess it's cool to be wearing glasses and seeing Pokemon pop up everywhere in real time, but is that really what we want Microsoft and Nintendo working together on?
Is that official?
It's like just a demo right now, but they were working with Niantic itself.
Well, Microsoft's interested in doing stuff with their HoloLens, I guess.
Yeah,
I haven't heard much
you hear about something sporadically once in a while, but nothing that's actually like firm or going anywhere. It's like, Microsoft, why did you even make HoloLens?
I know. Like, they seem so gung-ho about it at first, and then it just kind of died off.
Yeah.
Kind of like VR in general. It seems like a real, like, fad.
Well, so HoloLens was the one I was more interested in, because I don't really care about VR too much. Mm-hmm. VR can be cool, but AR, augmented reality, which is what HoloLens was. I loved the AR stuff for the 3DS when it first came out too. AR, I think, is a lot cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was actually kind of excited for HoloLens, especially because HoloLens was apparently going to work with Microsoft products so that you could have a Windows PC and still use it. You didn't just have to have a Xbox, and they were even at the time still making Windows Phone. It was supposed to work with the Windows Phone as well. Obviously, that's not going to happen anymore unless they decide to go with some new company and make another Windows Phone sometime in the future. But
yeah. I guess the real problem with HoloLens and AR in general is that you have to go outside for it to be useful, and
at the current moment,
2020 kind of put all that on hold. So,
well, it doesn't stop me.
Well, sure, but in general,
yeah,
stopped a significant number of people from interacting with the outdoors.
Raid.
Hey, Mallet raid.
Oh, nice.
How's it going?
Mallet did say last time, like, if I knew you were alive, he'd raid us. So that is a Mallet raid. I would be very thankful.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm raiding you Muppet.
I don't mind being called a Muppet. Because I, for one, don't think Muppets are racist. I think Muppets are cool.
That's right. Now it says Fusion sucked up resources. I don't know what that means. So, yeah, well, Microsoft's a big company. I'm sure they have the resources to work on multiple things. So
I'm sure they do, but when are they ever?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like their gaming department, despite being huge, only does is like they'll work on hardware and they'll have like one software thing going at a time, even though realistically they could be making like 20 to 30 games at the same time with how much resources they have.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like, yeah, the whole DK64 or I mean, the whole Donkey Kong Country franchise has been just conspicuously absent lately. like for a very long time.
Well, because we got the returns, and one of the reasons is because Rare used to make the Donkey Kong Country franchise, and Retro Studio was the one that they brought in to make Donkey Kong Country Returns, and then they made Tropical Freeze. So we got 2 Donkey Kong Country games within like the last decade. But Retro is also currently, supposedly, I'm not sure I believe them with how little we've seen anything, is working on Metroid, which Metroid Prime was the game they were known for originally. And apparently, they weren't asked to make Metroid Prime 4 at first. And the company that was making it bailed out, and they had to go to Retro. And like, why did you not ask Retro in the first place? It's their game.
Yeah. Well, I guess the problem was, so I forgot about Tropical Freeze. Yeah. And the reason I forgot about it was because it came out for the Wii U.
But it's on the Switch.
It is now. But I think that was an unfortunate event because I don't think it sold nearly as well as it could have if it had originally come out for the Switch, because I don't think it got nearly as much fanfare being a re-release / port.
And one of the problems too is like, it wasn't even, say, like a game that came out close to the release of the Switch. It came out like in the first half of the Wii U's life cycle, so it's not like they could have pushed it off or anything. They had no idea the Wii U was going to do as bad as it did.
Yeah. True. But now it's looking like the Switch might outsell the original Wii.
Yeah, which is crazy with how much the Wii had sold.
So it would be awesome if they remastered. I mean, or if they did like one of these 3-packs that they're doing, where they had like Donkey Kong Country. Is there a Donkey Kong Country 2?
Well, all 3 of the original Donkey Kong countries are currently on Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah. They came out over the course of 3 different months. It was like, I think November, December, January, but as of January, all 3 Donkey Kong countries are on the SNES Nintendo Online for the Switch.
Oh, I guess I knew that. But I guess it would be nice if they did a remake, remaster. And also DK64, I've seen that. I mean, I've not played it, but I've watched people stream that actually from beginning to end. It looks really cool. Looks like a fun game.
Yeah, it is, and it isn't.
A bit dated.
Well, it's not even that it's dated, right? I feel like I liked it more because I was a kid who saw Donkey Kong and had nothing else to play, because when I was younger, and even I think just in general back then, because there were less games, the market is flooded currently. Like, there's just so many more developers making games. And there was like the low period, right? Because before the crash, and even I guess during the NES era too, there were a plethora of just different studios making games all the time, that there was just too many games. Around like the SNES and the 64 time, there was kind of like a lump of a few developers were putting games out. You might get like 200 games for a console, but that was probably going to be it for the library of that console. Now, we have too many games to play everything. Right. And the thing with Donkey Kong 64 is you actually go back and you play it, and it feels like 5 different games chopped up into the same game. Like, it's not seamless gameplay. You have to constantly switch between these characters because the unlockables are locked to each character. Like, there's colored bananas. Only that character can pick up that banana. Or there's this area in the level that only this character can go to. And it doesn't feel like a single game. It's like 5 games that take place in the same levels.
Yeah.
It's very
I think it's an acquired...
Yeah.
It's definitely an acquired taste.
Yeah, because like Banjo-Kazooie, the 2 people that you're playing as, which is one character functionally, does everything. Conker does everything. Donkey Kong is like, you could have easily just made Donkey and Diddy do everything. You did in the past. But now you've introduced 3 other characters, and you have to play as everybody individually in every level.
Yeah. Oh, Lanky needs some love.
Yeah.
Does have Chunky Kong. That's true. That's correct.
Yeah, like the worst Kong in that game. Tiny Kong is best Kong.
Rebellious has played N64.
Yeah, I hope so.
Cool.
It's a good console.
Yeah.
Everybody should play at some point.
It had some fantastic games and it had some terrible games.
Yeah, I like that whole era too.
Yeah, don't ever play Castlevania 64. That is a terrible game. Or Superman 64.
Or Aquaman.
Oh, terrible games. Just
don't play Glover. You ever play Glover?
Or Bomberman 64.
Well, yeah, don't play Bomberman 64, but play Bomberman Hero. There were 2 Bomberman games for the 64. Bomberman Hero is like legitimately a good game. It was undersold though, because people saw Bomberman 64 and thought that was the one you were supposed to buy for the 64.
Yeah. No, what is Glover?
Okay, Glover. This is horrendous shit game that me and my brother have like. We even understood at the time that it was shit, but we loved the game because of how bad it was. And Glover, you play as a glove that's been magically enchanted. It's like one of this wizard's like 2 gloves, and the glove like it goes from like 5 to 4 fingers. He's only got 4 fingers so that he can walk around on 2 of them, and then he's got like the thumb and the pinky. And so you're walking around his glove, and he's got a ball that you like walk on and move around and throw, and you have to get the ball from the beginning of the level to the end of the level, and it's kind of like a platformer, and you can switch the ball out. So there's like the normal like bouncing rubber ball, and then there's like a huge bowling ball, and there's also or like a small bowling ball that's heavy and a huge beach ball. So there's like 3 different weighted balls, and you do different things. It is a frustrating game to get through. It's not very well designed. If you're not on the ball, you can kind of just like hold down and the glove just kind of like flops on its back, and that's pretty much a great analogy for how you feel playing the entire game. I don't recommend it. I do recommend watching somebody play Glover though.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I saw Rebellious Pastry was asking why we weren't talking about her thing, but I don't know what she was referring to.
Pastry makes animated videos.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Game theory, is Glover the master hand from Smash Brothers?
For sure not.
I think it's probably the hand from the like one Power Glove game that was ever made. Like Power Glove specific game.
Mel says I should have a mirrored background of yours. If I had a green screen, I could. I mean, I guess if I had Chroma Cam. I don't feel like installing Chroma Cam, though.
It's alright.
And that would just be one more resource my computer would be using, too. Like, I think I'd rather just get, like, a green sheet and put it behind me.
I can do a virtual green screen.
Yeah. And then I could just chroma that out from OBS.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You can also do Breath of the Wild. Or Fireworks.
Rick does have a green screen.
Yes, I've seen it.
I just don't care that much. I could probably just go down to like Joann's and get like a couple yards of green fabric to hang behind me. Just from the ceiling. You can tack it in. It's cheap. That's like the easiest way to get a green screen. If anybody's looking for a green screen, because you want something that's taut enough, right? And also heavy enough that it holds still. You can even just get green felt would be fine. You can go to Joann's, go to the clearance section, find like a really neon green looking fabric, and get it for like $1 a yard because it's on sale, and then just get like a few yards of green fabric, and you've got, boom, a green screen right there. And ironed, yes, you want it to be ironed too.
You just have to have something to hold it up.
Yeah. Well, that if it's taut enough, you could just hang it from the ceiling, and thumbtack it in.
Why doesn't Rick have a face cam while he draws?
I don't know, because Rick doesn't know what he's doing.
Imagine green screening pastry.
Oh wait, no, I know why he doesn't, because Rick only has one webcam.
Yeah.
So the one that he would be having his face cam on is the one that's actually looking down at the what's it called? The paper. I have two webcams if I wanted to. Like, I'm using my main one for the podcast because it's a higher resolution, but my laptop has a webcam on underneath it, so if I were to mount that, I could draw and have a face cam at the same time.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, or I guess I could needlessly have I could have two camera perspective. My webcam does have a tripod mount. I could take my projector off of the tripod, put my webcam on it, put the tripod on like the bed sitting next to me, put down as low as possible, and I could be projecting two different views of myself.
That'd be awesome. There's pastry.
Needless, though.
Rebellious Pastry said, imagine green screening pastry. There you
go. If I had a green screen, I'd probably make it my dojo from New Leaf. I'd probably just draw a better dojo.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We never did the Animal Crossing thing. I don't know if we ever will do it. Just because I really think part of the problem is my distance from the network. Because anytime I've tried it again with somebody else to try to play Animal Crossing, I can't play Animal Crossing with people online from back here. I get a network error. I don't know why. I guess maybe it's trying to pull too much.
Yeah.
But I can always show you how to do the thing from your end. It's not that hard. All you need to do is have OBS running to use it as a virtual cam.
Mm-hmm.
And all versions of OBS have virtual cam in them now. And we could totally do still something like that. It would just be like how we're normally doing things. We can't do the setup. I was setting up, we were going to make it a surprise, but it's not going to happen now. I was going to set up a basement area. In my basement, it was going to be a studio. Marsupial's seen it. People who've watched Rick's stream have kind of seen some of it. And we were going to do like the whole podcast from inside my Animal Crossing basement studio. And when we tried, it just kept communication error every single time. And I think it's just because the Wi-Fi on the Switch is not the best connector. It's not as strong as, say, like my laptop. So being like, I don't know, probably 150 feet from the wireless with several walls in between, it's just not gonna work with the way the setup is right here.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it was going to be cool.
Well, I'll tell you, the best Wi-Fi router I've ever had was the Apple Airport.
Yeah.
The Airport Extreme. It's amazing. It has such long reach, and I mean, it works great with Windows and Switch and everything else. It's an amazing device.
Because normally my problem with Apple stuff is their operating systems. Because they typically don't use the really expensive hardware that they have in the device to their fullest. They kind of like throttle their hardware. But when it comes to something that is purely hardware-based, like a router, I could see it being really, really good. I could not imagine whatever minimal operating system is in the router doing much to stop the hardware from working at full capacity.
Right. Yeah. What is that?
I don't know.
Well, this pastry might be having a stroke. I'm not sure.
Or maybe it's code.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, you're cleaning your keyboard. Okay. I was hoping it was going to be some elaborate code we'd have to decipher.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been fun.
Crazy.
Yeah.
This website for free prize.
Or like maybe it would lead us to a geocache location or something like that. And there'd be
I know. I thought for a second it was some sort of like latitude and longitude. That's what it looked like. But yeah, in case you missed it, there's my pastry background. So. Okay, now she's just spamming.
Just gonna geocache some things across the country and send people on a crazy scavenger hunt.
Mm-hmm. What is a cantenna?
I actually don't know. that is outside of my vocabulary.
Click out of the chat while you're cleaning your keyboard.
Or else I'm going to have somebody time you out while you're cleaning. You'll have to come back.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have 5 minutes to clean your keyboard.
Yeah.
I don't know what WDS and a cantenna are. Now I mess with you. Yeah. All right, what's the next news story?
Okay. Well, I was going to say real quick is like, also, why Pokemon Go? Like, you know, if I was going to do anything with HoloLens involving Pokemon, there's a new game that just came out that's not even a remake, but like a sequel to an old game. Why not, like, Pokemon Snap, but in real life?
No, because, I mean, Niantic's already got Go set up and working. I don't know if, I mean, Pokemon Snap isn't already built for AR.
It should be.
Pokemon Go kind of is.
Like, I'm kind of upset that there wasn't a Pokemon Snap for the 3DS, which was what a lot of people wanted. Some people wanted it for the Wii U because of the gamepad. I'm like, I'd rather for the 3DS because the 3DS camera was built for AR, and I wanted like an AR Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the fact that the Switch doesn't have a camera.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it would have been cool to do it as an AR game. Although the one thing that I don't like about Pokemon Go is that you have to like move.
Yeah.
You can't just play it in your house. That's unfortunate, but but it would be cool to have that option.
You'll be watching Detective Pikachu tomorrow. That is great. I highly recommend that movie to like anyone. I really like Detective Pikachu. I think it's like an amazing movie. I wouldn't even say as a video game adaptation, but as a movie in general, I think it is a great movie. And to me, it captures some similar things that like Who Framed Roger Rabbit was trying to do.
Yeah, I thought it was well done. I'm not quite as over the moon about it as you are, but I do recognize that it was a good movie.
Like I remember when it came out not too long ago. Was it like a year and a half or something like that? It's not that old of a movie. Especially being a young millennial who grew up with Pokemon. Me and a bunch of like my high school friends, we like a group of us. I don't remember how large. It was like maybe 10 of us. All went off and saw Detective Pikachu together in the theaters. It was like a little event that we did.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, and we went to a Chinese buffet. Was it before or after? I think it might have been before. It was really weird, actually. They had this show on. I don't follow game shows anymore or anything, like, or just TV. I never turn the TV on, so I don't know what kind of like shit is on TV. But while we were at the restaurant, there was this show that looked like it was tag, pretty much. Like, this whole game show was just tag. And they got these people that were running through a city, almost like an obstacle course, and they had a head start, and then they sent like one of their professional runners after them, and you basically had to go through this course to the end before the professional runner caught you. And I'm like, is this all they have for TV anymore?
Joshua says Detective Pikachu was okay.
No, Joshua, you're just okay.
That seems like fighting words.
Well, you know what? Even just saying Joshua's okay is probably a step up from everybody calling him bad leader, so he'll probably take it.
Rebellious Pastry makes TV. I don't know what that means, but...
Well, I think, well, that's the thing about the internet. This is why I don't turn on TV. The content I get on the internet, I enjoy way more than, like, was there an Ash cameo? No, there was no Ash cameo, and thank God, because Detective Pikachu was, going off the game and not, like, the game franchise and not the anime. Red is better than Ash, okay? I'm just gonna say it. Ash is a horrible trainer. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, internet video. Way more entertaining to me than TV ever was. And, you know, we're even kind of, in a way, making TV ourselves, or I guess kind of like making radio.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, why would I ever watch TV when I'm busy making content and I'm enjoying content that I thought was way better than the stuff I ever did?
Yeah.
What else was there? Oh, speaking of things that, like, I don't like the direction stuff are going. Mortal Kombat. We talked about the movie, trailer. Other than my, like, minor complaints of, like, a couple red flags, I thought the trailer was pretty good. We gave it a pretty positive review for just being a trailer. But, then I'm hearing some things that are making me upset. And the producer reveals why there are cut characters and hints that it's going to be like a Marvel-style cinematic universe. And I'm like, I don't want a cinematic universe for Mortal Kombat. I'll take a movie series. I don't want... Mortal Kombat itself isn't even a connected universe, other than, like, cameos that come in. It's just a straightforward series.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want something that doesn't have, like, spin-offs of itself to be a cinematic universe?
Well, what's the difference between, like, if they did just a trilogy versus a cinematic universe? What is the difference?
Well, the difference would be that there are other things going on the side that are in continuity, but it's not directly forward, right? It's like... which even
so they would do, like...
screwed that up, but...
So they do, like, just a movie about Reptile or something like that? Or just a movie about Liu Kang?
Like, maybe the reason... frickin' Cage doesn't show up is because he's going to be a star of another movie. Maybe some weird celestial event that happens in Hollywood.
I don't think these characters... I don't think there's enough lore already built up behind them to support something like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a couple characters that could, but one of the characters that could hold a story on his own with his story is in this movie. Scorpion's revenge story is probably heavy enough that it could support a movie on its own, but Scorpion is in this movie, unless they're setting it up that this is where he dies, and now it's setting him on the revenge story. Sure, I could see a Scorpion spinoff.
Yeah.
Maybe... No, I wouldn't even say Liu. I don't even think Liu's story is enough to hold up without the rest of Mortal Kombat. Scorpion's like the only one I could think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. GMT makes a good point. They need to get Chun-Li in this movie.
Well, multiverse, yeah, that is the only way you could get Chun-Li. If they're also going to be making a Street Fighter movie and then these like parallel worlds interact with each other.
I keep saying they need to get Lara Croft in there too.
Yeah.
Because why not?
And before Johnny Cage biopic titled Cage One Tough Nut. I guess. I don't know. It's just... like, everything doesn't need to be a cinematic universe.
I mean, the thing is, Marvel and DC, for that matter, have like, 60, 70 plus years, maybe more, 80 years of comic book lore behind them.
Well, there's some video games that could easily make a cinematic universe. Yeah. Detective Pikachu could easily be the start of a cinematic universe. Pokemon's got more than enough stuff going on with it.
Easily.
And I loved seeing the Pokemon running around the world. I don't want a sequel to Detective Pikachu. It wrapped up the story. I just want to see more Pokemon stories that follow game-related stuff. Like, that one I'd be fine with.
That's right. I want a movie solely based on Vanillite. Or Chandelure.
Well, yeah, but there's actually games, too. Like, you could have, if you really want to appease the kiddos, right? Like, a game that would make a good movie, you could do a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon movie where the Pokemon are actually talking to each other, and you only see Pokemon the entire time. It would be like the Lion King of Pokemon movies. Or I'm actually probably closer to the Secret of Nim of Pokemon movies, but whatever, you know?
Yeah, GMT's right. Wreck-It Ralph could have been the start of something else awesome if they hadn't gone full woke.
Yeah, if they just didn't make Wreck-It Ralph 2.
I don't think I've only seen parts of it, but I love the first one. Well, I think there's only one answer to Rebellious Pastry's question. What do you want to see from me? And that answer is feet.
No.
Obviously.
No. don't
the answer is always feet.
Do not make me scold you.
Come on. Do it.
That's actually the thing that I disliked, is that instead of thinking about making more Pokemon movies like Detective Pikachu, they thought about, like, oh, this could lead into a Smash Brothers cinematic universe. It's like, I don't want a Smash Brothers cinematic universe. I just want more Pokemon movies. You guys did a good job. Continue doing a good job in the thing that you already did a good job with. How hard is that to, like, fathom? I don't know.
The GMT's getting me excited. She says she almost posted feet the other day.
Pokemon Ranger would be a good movie. Heck, make a Pokemon Snap movie. I'd watch it if you came up with a good plot for it. Make a Pokemon trading card movie with the actual Pokemon showing up. Like, you could easily make a really good plot out of it, and Pokemon trading cards canonically exist in the world. They even reaffirmed it in Detective Pikachu. Have, like, a big tournament movie. I don't care. There's so many things you could do with that property. Now, let's make Smash Brothers.
Well, they had, it's funny how these movies like this, like, it had to have Mewtwo, right?
Yeah.
Just because that's like the iconic. It reminds me of the fact that for a while, like, every Spider-Man movie had to have the origin story over and over, and every Batman movie had to have the origin story over and over. It's like, okay, how about one with Arceus and what's his name? The other gods, Pokemon, whatever they're called,
or like whatever, like the super legendary was of each one. Like there was an animated movie about almost all of these ones, but they involve Ash and but like Celebi,
Giratina, right?
Yeah, or something like that. Jirachi, which is like the wish-making Pokemon from the 3rd generation. Like there's all kinds of things they could do. Heck, turn Pokemon Origins into a movie. It already basically is one. It's just animated. Give us or a trilogy. Just give me the Life of Red. Just give me a trilogy that is Red, going through all of Kanto. I would watch it. It would be great. Have him like taking down Team Rocket and stuff like that.
Yeah, what's wrong with a live-action Yu-Gi-Oh movie? It could be good.
So many things could go wrong with that.
It could, yeah.
Yeah. It could be good too, but one of the problems is the casting, right?
Yeah.
Who are they going to cast for some of these people? Especially when they're... This is a problem with Hollywood. I don't want Hollywood to have anything to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has such an Egyptian background to it. And Hollywood's just going to be like, Egyptian, okay, cast everybody to be black.
Right. I'm trying to think who would make a good Mai.
Well, the better question is, who's going to be Joey Wheeler?
That's right.
I summon the Flame Swordsman in attack position. Joey, you can't do that. Flame Swordsman is a fusion monster. You can't just summon him straight onto the field. The animation even kind of, yeah, it's like, he even kind of acknowledges this too. The card is purple in the show, but they don't treat it like a fusion monster.
No, Joey.
Nobody follows the rules. I hate the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. I love it, because I watched it so much, but I hate it, because I used to play the card game, and it's like, this isn't how this works. This isn't how anything works.
they get the rules wrong?
Oh, all the time! And sometimes they do things, it's just, yeah, it's called cheating, get used to it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is actually the best way to enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Too bad that Little Kribo takes so long that series is never going to be finished. In fact, I think it's pretty much just a development hell. And I think it was basically just dropped. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is a great way to enjoy the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated series. And you even get, like, parts where, when they are outright cheating in the show, but the show doesn't recognize this cheating, the abridged version will. And there's a part where, like, Yugi takes his mammoth graveyard and fuses it to Kaiba's Blue Eyes, like, Ultimate Dragon or whatever, which is like a fusion
of Blue Eyes
White Dragon, right? And, well, like, one, you can't fuse a monster to somebody else's monster. That doesn't happen. And even if you could, like, why does the monster being undead, being fused to this other monster, suddenly start rotting it and killing it from the inside? And he's like, wait, what, how can you can't do that? And he's like, it's called cheating. Deal with it.
Does he actually say that?
That's what he says in the abridged version, yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen the abridged version. Yeah,
that's what you need to watch. The abridged version is great. And, like, Taya sounds like a man in the abridged version. And
really?
Yeah. And what's the other guy's name? Tristan. Sounds like Barney for some reason. Hey, guys.
They just redub it or something?
Yeah, that's all an abridged series is. It's like they redub the show, cut down, and throw some jokes and stuff in there. It's just like, the last season was awful. Like, the last, maybe 10 episodes of it. But Dragon Ball Z Abridged is probably the best way to enjoy Dragon Ball Z. And that's with Team 4-Star.
Interesting. Well, how do they deal with the scene where Seto Kaiba, like, basically threatens to commit suicide if Yugi wins? Like,
oh, I don't even remember. It's been a while since I watched it. There's, like, certain parts of the show that stand out more than others.
Yeah. That always bugged me. It was like, okay, he's gonna win, but then he's like, no, I'm gonna commit suicide if you win.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, here's Bug to come in here and possibly give us a bad take.
Yeah, you'll have to remove the the name.
Get rid of these labels. Well, I don't have to get rid of them. You know what I could do? I could just move them.
Just move them up.
Yeah.
Buck, have you come to?
He doesn't get a
talk about the. Have you come to talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, well, I actually put the exact response on the chat there, and I think you missed it. Because basically when that happens, he just goes, what would my grandpa say? And then his grandpa in his head just says, Yugi! Kill that son of a bitch!
Oh, the grandpa's like the best character, too. Because in their version, he's got, like, gambling debts and stuff like that.
I didn't realize that was the response. It's funny. GMT.
No, I just put that I just put that up there as a joke earlier, but then you actually asked that question. It's like, well, that was the response.
That's funny. No, that's not Flit. That's Travis.
Yeah, he doesn't get a name tag. Only hosts get name tags. Maybe if there is a guest, but they're lucky if they do. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise known as, if you see where it says Discord Buck, that's who it is. So, all right. Anyway, enough with this. I'm sick of this topic.
As I add an outline to the names, if they'll even show up.
Oh, looks fine to me.
It actually, barely, it's how small the name is, that's why. And I probably have to increase this font. Whatever, I just want a tiny outline around it so that it separates it from its own background. Since it is pure white. Oh, I keep missing the thing. Anyway, yeah, so, Mortal Kombat. Why the heck are they making a cinematic universe? Companies. Just hear me out. Hear me out. Right? Stop it with the cinematic universes, okay? Try to make something good first before you even plan on making a cinematic universe. That's
You know.
Mortal Kombat hasn't even come out yet.
Confirm there was one?
Yeah, the producer basically confirmed that that's what the reason why there's characters missing.
Oh God.
Like, just make a movie first, see if it's good, and then you can worry about a potential cinematic universe.
Plus, don't shoot yourself in the foot before you start by excluding characters people would want to see in this movie.
I mean, you could save them for a sequel. That's fine. Like, you can plan a sequel from a storytelling perspective. That's perfectly fine. Because your sequel is just in case this is good. You still got to make sure that the movie is good before a sequel comes out, but I think making multiple stories going in continuity with each other before you even sell people on the first one is just a little bit of a burden to put on yourself.
I don't think people realize how complex that can be. I mean, I don't even know how Marvel pulled some of this stuff off. It's just kind of amazing.
Well, to be fair, they basically just started with Iron Man. Right?
Yeah.
And there was Iron Man and the Hulk is a thing, but they didn't make that. But they had planned to work with it, right? Because there's the Nick Fury thing. So they kind of had the idea of the Avengers Initiative from the very beginning. Obviously, that's a thing that was going to happen with all the Nick Fury stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't overwhelm themselves at first. They took it like one movie at a time. Then after the Avengers is when everything started getting crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, they did Captain America and like Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started out very simple.
Sometimes I wish they stopped at Iron Man. Same. Because I really like the original Iron Man. I like the other stuff in there, but like in the first phase, but the first Iron Man is such like I wouldn't even say like a perfect movie, but it's definitely a golden movie.
Yeah. See ya, pastry. By the way. Yeah. Stop with this whole really ambitious stuff. I mean, like, I can understand, DC wanting to try and create a cinematic universe.
Yeah, but I even told DC they shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because they kind of screwed up their cinematic universe by setting it up as a cinematic universe before they had any real build-up.
Yeah, they even did it wrong. So it's like, anyone else, like, just stop. Just stop it. Just make one good movie. Like, that's a challenge enough that enough studios can't seem to do. Make one fucking good movie to start with.
Thing too, right? Like, even going back, you can plan for a sequel. That's fine. But maybe even try not making a series to start off your universe. Maybe try just a standalone movie. I don't think Mortal Kombat is that movie, because I don't think Mortal Kombat should have a cinematic universe. And because of that, it's also fine to plan for a sequel, because Mortal Kombat had sequels. But if you're going to do that, maybe there are some characters that they're excluding they shouldn't. Maybe each movie should have, I don't know, all the characters that were playable in that game. That's probably a pretty good way to start. You don't even have to plan your sequels so much that way. The sequels kind of plan themselves.
Yeah. To me, I don't know if that's super important. I mean, we'll have to see how it comes out. But like, if they could still make a good movie without Johnny Cage. That to me is not a make or break character.
I don't know.
And then
Johnny
for
Cage
the
is
final
pretty good.
film, they will have Taven appear to gather them together to fight Blaze.
No, it would just make a Mortal Kombat Armageddon film that has all like 60 characters that were in the film. They don't have to have speaking roles, just some of them can be cameos in the background, but I want all like 65 characters to show up in that movie.
You get Smoke over here and Noob Saibot and all that.
Yeah.
Sure. No problem. But I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't. I mean,
could you imagine being hired as an actor to play like Noob Saibot for a non-speaking role that just shows up in the background once?
Yeah. That could happen. I don't think it would be anyone.
At this rate, with his with how his career is going, that'll be Michael B. Jordan.
Well, Michael B. Jordan will probably be cast as like 5 different characters in Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Isn't that the guy who's being cast as Superman?
Is he now?
Or am I thinking of someone else?
It was the guy who played the Human Torch in the last Fantastic Four. I knew him from Parenthood. I thought he was fine in Parenthood. I think he's actually a pretty good actor. Didn't he also play Killmonger, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you didn't hear about that? There's a rumor.
Well, I heard that there was going to possibly be a black Superman. I didn't know it was him.
Yeah, the rumor is it could be Michael B. Jordan.
All that confirms to me is the movie's going to be shit.
Well, the movie's already going to be shit. Did you not hear why?
Why?
Okay, we could talk about this real quick. We already know one of the 2 writers who's going to be on the next Superman movie. It's been confirmed that comic writer Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to be working on the script for the next Superman movie. Ta-Nehisi Coates, as you may know, as the guy who brought Wakanda to space and turned Captain America into a Nazi.
And called the 9/11 first responders not, what did he call them, inhuman or not human or something like that?
So, like, I've already decided I'm not watching this movie no matter what they decide to do with it, because there's no way it can be good.
Nope. Impossible.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest, if there were actually competent people on it, I would actually not mind an Icon movie at all. That would probably work out pretty well.
I don't know.
You know, people are saying, oh, there's some comic book reason for Michael B. Jordan being the Superman. Is a different character, Calvin something, or
I would have took a Steel movie.
Like,
Steel could have been a good movie.
Oh, I think they're talking about like Earth 2, because when New 52 started, Earth 2's Superman just died and they replaced him with a young black guy who was like his adoptive brother who got to Earth a lot later than he did.
Yes, it was a dumb storyline.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, just because it was in the comics, like, have you read comics lately? They're shit.
Yeah.
So just because it was in the comics doesn't mean, oh, it's okay to make this a movie. I mean, it's okay. You're allowed to, but it's going to be shit.
Well, I mean,
not
even lately.
I was originally going to try watching Superman and Lois until I found out the story is actually just about his 2 teenage sons. One of them is Jonathan. One of them is one who doesn't even exist in any form of media other than this, who is a guy with a learning disability, anger problems, and currently is the only one of the 2 sons who's developed powers.
Yeah, that does sound retarded.
Is there going to be Super Sons? Is he going to run into Batman's son?
Probably not. They can't make good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're both like teenagers in high school already, and one of them's only just now getting his powers, so.
Okay.
Also, for some reason, Superman didn't tell them he was Superman until the first episode of that show.
I'm not.
I was saying something. Oh,
I wasn't going to hold out hope.
It's not even lately, right? Right. So there are some great comic book stories, but I'm going to reinforce your point of just because it's in the comics doesn't mean it's good. You can go back to even when comics were consistently better, and there's still plenty of like really shitty, stupid things that happen in comics throughout the entire like history of comic books, throughout DC's whole history, throughout Marvel's whole history. And just because something is in the comics doesn't justify it for being put into any other medium. Because there's a reason why some of this stuff was allowed to die in the past and they haven't done it again.
Yeah. Are you thinking of anything in particular?
Oh, yeah. You know, who's a character I used to really like was Captain Marvel. And even though this story is still better than, like, half the stuff that's going on now, I really would not want to see a movie about Carol dealing with the X-Men and getting pregnant and having a son within a week from a person who basically raped her. And nobody would believe her that she was raped. Like, this would be a horrible movie. And it exists in the comics. Why would I want to see a movie based on that? Hyper pregnancy, where the guy she basically births the guy who knocked her up too. Like, this horrible story.
Crazy. GMT says, is the one that's getting his powers 13?
Actually, based on what I've been seeing, I think they're like 16 or 17. They're like mid-high school age. They're not even just starting it. Like, Jonathan is old enough that he's like a star football player.
They must not be very bright if they haven't figured out their dad is Superman.
Yeah, at that long into their life. And I don't understand one has a learning disability, but how does the one who doesn't not figure out that he's Superman?
Seriously. You don't recognize your father when he takes his glasses off? Or you've never seen him with his glasses off? You know what I wish they would do? Well, I don't know. It might ruin it, but I like the Spider-Man Gathering of Five storyline.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites. Probably just because...
about Superman, it's not just his glasses. Like, it's fun to make that as a joke. Now, somebody in your family should be able to tell despite this. But there's a lot that changes from Clark to Superman, including his posture, like how he carries himself.
Sure.
Even like, because when you hunch down, you actually do drag your face differently. He does so many things that a criminal profiler would not be able to tell that Clark and Superman are the same person. Unless they had so much extensive data that they could see, like, the slip-ups and everything. But, like, yeah, he literally makes a spectacle of himself. I even know that some teachers in criminal profiling use him as an example. Like, a good example of somebody who actually changes their mannerisms and everything about themselves to where they physically seem to be a different person. And most people would be confused by that. But again, your family would probably be able to tell. Or even more so, I've always had a problem with Lois, because Lois is supposed to be such a great reporter. Anybody who is intelligent and spends an extensive time with you would probably be able to pick up eventually. Right? And why are they waiting until they're late teenagers to get their powers? Clark had his powers his entire life, basically. Like, he was already doing things as like a small child. And they would be absorbing sunlight their whole life.
If I had to guess, it's because they've just, like, they announced this as a movie or a show about Superman and Lois, but it's basically just another teen drama.
Yeah, but, like, I don't care about that. It doesn't make sense, right? Like, they should already have their powers, and one of the things about the Kryptonians is everything scales up. Like, it makes all of their physiology better. So the more sunlight, the actual, like, more efficient Clark's brain starts working, too. Like, his IQ would be above that of any human because of that. So his children who should be functioning the same way, should also be able to pick up on things that normal humans shouldn't be able to pick up on. Like patterns and stuff. There's no way Superman's kids couldn't tell that he's Superman.
Is this written by some crappy YA author or something?
Probably.
TMT says Gohan.
Okay. Gohan and even Goku, the Saiyans and Kryptonians work completely differently, though. Right? So, Saiyans have to train to increase their power. It's a ki-based thing, right? So Gohan, even though he had, this native, potential, this natural potential to him, Gohan still has to train. Right? He doesn't just consistently get stronger for no reason. Kryptonians get stronger just from having sunlight flood into their cells.
Yep.
Also, kind of hard to use that as a reason when the first time he ever tried to fight, he crippled his uncle, who even his dad couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Who, Gohan?
Yeah, when he was angry. But even that works because anger is a form of emotional focus and can enhance your ki. So somebody with a natural potential, he gets angry, his ki starts exploding out. The mechanics of these worlds are completely different to each other.
GMT says if Piccolo turned up in Smallville, I'd tune in a heartbeat.
Dude, if Piccolo showed up in Smallville, he'd probably kill everybody.
I mean, technically, a version of Piccolo showed up in a version of Smallville. It's just a version of Piccolo from a media that nobody really likes. Because James Marsden, who played Piccolo in Dragon Ball Evolution, was also Brainiac in Smallville.
Yeah, well, I don't count that because he didn't play Piccolo in that. Brainiac showed up, not Piccolo. Oh, I don't even care. Anytime Superman got his powers in the teens are usually part of the bad stories anyway. To be fair, most Superman stories suck outside of the main timeline. I like Earth 2 Supergirl, don't get me wrong, or at least the original one, who is now Power Girl, but that's not even the current Earth 2 Supergirl. This is somebody who's been caught between timelines and doesn't even have an original world anymore. But Earth 2 Superman is awful. I don't know why anybody... Some people, that's their favorite Superman, too. Why do you like Earth 2 Superman? He sucks.
Yeah, the DC Animated Universe Superman Red Sun movie. Does not surprise me that the movie sucked. That storyline sucked.
Well, okay, you know what? I'll give one exception, though. Earth 11 is clearly the best Earth in the modern world. Because Earth 11 is the Rule 63 version of DC. Where everybody's sexes are swapped. So that's the sexiest version of Superman.
I bet.
Yeah.
What is DCAU?
Animated Universe.
Oh, okay. Is that on? Not that I want to watch it, but is that on Netflix or something?
It's probably on the DC Universe app.
Oh.
Because they have their own streaming
Yeah,
service.
it's just usually referring to any of their animated movies, which started out pretty well,
but
then quickly went downhill.
It's specifically talking about the ones that started with Justice League War. Nobody really counts anything before that because that's what started this one continuity.
Yeah, which again, it started out okay, but then it quickly went downhill.
Yeah, everybody was talking about the whole, what's it called, Apocalypse War, and that they were, talking about how good it was. I watched it, I wasn't impressed. Rule 63 Joshua says he agrees with me.
Perfect timing, Rule 63, Joshua.
Yeah.
Plitt says he sails the high seas. I have no idea what that means, so
I know exactly what that means. I also sail the high seas.
No, we don't know what that means.
Yo ho, yo ho.
It's meaningless. That is just words.
Yeah. I raised the Jolly Roger on the Wheelie.
TMT says, I started watching the Batman serials from the 1940s? 1940s?
Yeah.
What was that? I never heard of that.
Get rid of that tab.
Started watch Batman serial. Oh, look at this.
Were there things you could watch? I thought there were radio shows back there, right? I guess you could say you were watching radio shows. Were there TV too?
It looks like theatrical. So it says, this is new information. Interesting, GMT. It says The Batman is a 1943 American 15-chapter theatrical serial from Columbia Pictures.
I've never seen that.
Huh. Never heard of that. The villain is an original character. It's always, why Hollywood? Named Dr. Daka, a secret agent of the Japanese Imperial government. Oh, that's why.
Well, that makes sense because of the time.
Yeah. His love interest is Linda Page. Fascinating. And that's apparently available somewhere to watch? That's cool.
I don't know if I would check that out. There's only one character that was a villain that was original that I really liked a Batman series. Well, used to be two, but, Harley Quinn has gone down into the shitter. But it was from the Batman TV show, and that's Egghead. Played by the amazing Vincent Price.
According to Rick, the serial is even campier than the Adam West show.
You would expect. I mean, we're going back in time. And
it says it was re-released in 1965 as An Evening with Batman and Robin. Proved very popular, and its success inspired the action comedy Lampoon series Batman. Interesting. There was also a 1949 serial entitled Batman and Robin.
Yeah, which according to Rick is the sequel serial to that one.
Right.
Sounds
like something I'll probably never watch.
Interesting. Yeah, they're very short. It's like range from 25 to 15 minutes. And there's 15 of them.
Well, I would assume that's the case, because it's the way they used to do in old movie theaters. You would go in and you'd watch a few serials at a time. You'd basically buy in for a block.
Yeah. Neat. Oh, speaking of movie theaters, this is a shame. Alamo Drafthouse has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't stay open, right?
Yep. I mean, I think the one here in Dallas was open. But we were a little bit looser here. Even other bigger cities in Texas were closed. And obviously Alamo Drafthouse, there's it's nationwide as well. So obviously the one in New York was closed and stuff like that. Maybe a single location was open. I'm not even sure. It could have just been ours, and I don't think you could retain your necessary funding if you only have one running building.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And I imagine the one in Austin was probably closed.
Oh, for sure. Austin basically closed his whole city down.
Yeah.
Not smart.
Not smart at all.
I mean, hey, This date is going, well, it's not going to end up being completely mask-free, but from a legal standpoint, this city or state's going mask-free this very month.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of places will still require you they're allowed to choose to do that as a business.
Yeah. Was it this month, Wednesday, or next Wednesday that starts?
I don't remember the exact date. It's either now or next Wednesday. But it's soon.
Cool. Congrats.
Yeah.
I think it's this month, because I think they were saying it's March, and it is March 3rd.
No, we know it's this month. We were saying, is it this Wednesday or next Wednesday? Pay attention to the conversation.
Yeah, I didn't quite hear if it was the 3rd or the 10th of March that was going to be official.
Yeah.
But it's funny, in Alabama, I guess there's some sort of mandate, but I mean, it's like, if there is, it's not enforced.
Yeah.
Because I've walked into stores and stuff without a mask, and they don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't enforced that much here either.
Well, I was going to say, it's only the stores themselves are enforcing it. Like, if you call an officer, they'll have to remove you for trespassing. But that's it. Like, the officers themselves aren't, like, looking for people and enforcing it. Nobody really cares.
Yeah. I mean, like, big stores, like, Publix and Winn-Dixie and stuff like that, they'll kick you out. But, like, a little gas station or a little store on a strip mall, they don't give a shit.
Yeah. And, like, my thing is, like, there's a lot of people that are throwing fits. Local people, right? It's not like people from out of state complaining about Texas. No, it's people here throwing fits. Especially the closer you get to the city, you'd be surprised how blue people can be here in Texas, and it does seem to be widely a a party line thing, and not because people have formed their own opinion. It's like they're actually lining up on party lines, and people are throwing fits about it, and I'm just like, why does the government need to tell you to wear a mask? If you're still afraid of things, if you think this is a serious circumstance, personally, you can choose to still wear one. Yeah. You can choose to avoid places where people widely aren't. The big box stores are going to require them, so maybe just go continue shopping at the big box stores. You can choose to self-isolate. Like, you don't need the government to tell you to do these things. Most of the people who care have been doing these things anyway. Like, they're not going to parks or anything like that. Why, and if you think people are killing themselves, why not just let them kill themselves? Stay away from them.
Yeah. But, like, I've had COVID. My mom has had the vaccine to both shots. She has had both shots.
My mom has too, and I took her to go do it.
We shouldn't have to have any restrictions whatsoever. Because we can't carry the virus. We can't spread it. We're immune. I
haven't been confirmed. I'm fairly, 95% certain I had it. The only reason I didn't think I had it at first was because it didn't match the initial symptoms, but the more we learned about it, it's like, oh yeah, no, I definitely had it. Because the initial symptoms, it's like, they had no idea what the hell they were talking about.
Yeah, well, we're planning on going out to dinner, and I'm pretty soon, because my mom hasn't been out to dinner in, like, a year. So she was like, well, she got her shot, like, last week, her second one. So she's like, I want to go out to dinner.
Oh, yeah, no, so, I was getting almost pissed off at not going places around pizza day, even though I didn't find out it was pizza day till after we made dinner. Like, 2 days later, I was like, okay, Buck, we're heading down to our pizzeria. I want the pizza and I want to eat it there. And so we went and did that.
Boy, it's a lot of disappointment in Rick for not doing High Noon today. He's allowed to take the day off, people. Streams twice a day, every day.
But yeah,
so anyway,
I'm so happy we're opening up.
I keep clicking the wrong thing.
Like I said, for the most part, we never really closed down. Like, the movie theaters have been open this entire time.
Yeah.
But the thing that comes with it is not that there's no mask, it's that things are allowed to be 100% capacity now. So that doesn't mean social distance if you want to, but you're not going to be forced to social distance unless the business itself forces you, right? Like, you're allowed to have all your tables, you're allowed to have max occupancy like normal.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't like it, you don't have to go to that business.
You don't.
Nobody's forcing you.
In fact, it's probably going to become like a
movie.
What?
What's that?
Or just see a Marvel movie. There's not enough people to worry about social distancing in those nowadays.
I was actually curious because I've been, I don't know. I haven't been to see a movie in several years. It's nothing to do with COVID, but I was just curious to see what's playing, and nothing good except I wonder. Oh, is Monster Hunter? No, Monster Hunter isn't out yet, is it? Or is
I don't think so. Godzilla vs. Kong, I know, is probably like the next big thing that's coming out.
Oh, okay.
Which we're gonna go see that.
Oh, it looks like it is. It is. Interesting.
I don't know. I had no interest in seeing that movie.
Yeah,
what, Monster Hunter?
I was about to say, if it's out, I wouldn't count that as the good things because,
Well, Marsupial wants to
who's making it.
Better than anything. I mean, what are my other options? I think Wonder Woman 1984 is still playing.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Watch Monster Hunter if you gotta do something.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry, no. The Croods, A New Age.
There's nothing else. Last year. Before everything happened at the beginning of the year, it was in January. I saw Doolittle. That was a really good movie.
Well, I see that you can get Monster Hunter on demand, but can you see it? Is it in theaters? That's the question. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. I actually figure if our Cinemark doesn't require anything, that Godzilla vs. Kong is probably going to be a very packed movie. So anybody who's looking to still social distance probably shouldn't go to see that movie.
Yeah. Let's see. When is that coming out? Looks like March 25th. Coming out.
Because I don't give a fuck.
That's right. You're a young man with no comorbidities, right? So.
Yep. Well, you know what the most important comorbidity is? It's not even age.
Obesity?
Age is the second most. It's obesity. Yeah. Which is like the most important comorbidity to literally everything.
That's right.
You just put too much stress on your body, and some things, like COVID specifically, turns out it can hide in your fat cells.
Lovely.
Yeah. That shouldn't have been a shock, though, because the flu can kind of do that. Almost everything that's true about this is also kind of true about the flu, as you would expect, because while the flu is actually several diseases, the vast majority, like 90% of the flu, is the lingering effect of the Spanish flu that became endemic. And we're still dealing with that. Mostly, it comes from South America and Central America. And it comes back up through the border every single year after it adapts. That's mostly where it comes from.
Interestingly, shoot, I just completely lost it. What I've heard is that smoking actually helps with COVID.
Yeah, it's probably just because you have this unhealthy layer of tar coating your lungs, so it can't actually attack the cells in there.
it's a healthy layer of tar.
A healthy layer of tar, sure.
It's a protective layer. Really.
No, it just doesn't want anything else killing you before it gets to you.
That's right.
It's defensive of its job. It wants to kill you.
Mm-hmm. That's right, and I'm gonna let it. Yes, Flit, over half.
Just need to be like Mr. Burns, have every known disease and some that were discovered in him, all fighting to kill him at the same time.
That's right. They all cancel each other out.
Yeah. It was like I said before. It's the nicotine? Yeah.
It's the nicotine that, I mean, I've heard that smoking can make the symptoms less serious or something. And he's right. Over half of all Americans have hypertension. I don't, actually, surprisingly, despite the fact that I am overweight. Yeah. I have been checked, and I do not have hypertension.
But no, I relate it to, it wanting to kill you. It's like me and my brother. There's a lot of people that want to beat up my younger brother, Joey, but I always tell them they have to get in line behind me. Nobody else gets to beat him up. That's my job.
That's right. COVID has to get in line behind the cigarettes.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Do you have anything else to talk about? Because before we get to RPG shenanigans, we probably want to wait until we're at the last half hour.
Well, apparently there's a proposed bill in Arizona that could make the whole Fortnite Apple thing moot.
Oh, that would be nice. The whole Epic Apple. We have been following that, so let's talk about that. What you got on it?
It says here, a proposed bill has passed the Arizona House of Representatives. Should allow Epic Games to offer its own payment method and forbid Google or Apple from retaliating. Now, I don't understand how a state bill could really affect Apple. Like, what if they go against it? Like,
well, okay, so there's one to two things that can happen there, right? So a state bill can at least make it have to function that way within the state, right? Mm-hmm. So there could be ways around it. I mean, you could VPN to make it seem like you're in the state. But Apple could be like, okay, fine, for residents of the state, we have to let them do that. But that doesn't mean we have to everywhere else, right? And you can always tell that because when you go to buy something online, they do ask you for your zip code for tax information and stuff like that. And they can tell basically based on your bank account information as well. So if you wanted to get around it, you'd actually literally have to have a bank account in some other state or province, right? But all of these things usually start at the state level because they're what will set the precedent, and then it gets brought to a federal level afterwards. So it's important that something like Arizona starts the process. So even if Apple tries to fight it, then it ends up going to a federal court, and then maybe everyone in the United States the policy will now apply to.
Yeah, I don't quite understand how they could enforce that except in federal court, I guess. But basically, it places
starting in the state to get it to federal court.
Yeah, I guess so. So it says here the legislation. Interesting. They place a restriction on stores exceeding 1 million downloads, which of course is only the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
Bars those companies from retaliating against developers who use third-party payment systems. It also applies to the state residents on the demand side, basically, keeping them from being required to use exclusive payment methods. So, but it does exempt game consoles. Interestingly.
Yeah, because you'd think game consoles would fall into that over 1 million downloads thing, right? Because they have their own independent stores on each of the consoles.
Yeah, and presumably if there's in-app currency there, you have to buy it like through Nintendo, for instance.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think probably because consoles already do it a good way, though, is they allow you to have your own store for the most part. Like most consoles let you have an internal store, or you what they do is they just bring you back to the DLC page otherwise. Yeah. But I thought that was interesting. Now it's only passed the House, so now the Senate has to pass it and the governor has to sign it. So we'll see. We'll keep you all updated on that. It does kind of seem like it's a direct attack at Apple involving this specific circumstance, and Google Play is just getting hit because there's no justification for separating Google Play from Apple in this regard. Like they fall under the exact same branch of things.
Well, it says it applies to both.
No. Like Google is just being hit like
that's interesting.
Right? It's in the crossfire because you can't not aim at it as well. The consoles, they can find a way of separating it and so on, but there's no way of distinguishing Google Play and Apple in this regard. Their stores are functionally the same. That if you attack one, you have to also hit the other.
Yeah. Well, I think Epic was trying to, is trying to deal with both anyway, and having a dispute with both. So, because didn't Google take them off too, or did they not?
No. I think they resolved on that part. It was that they were also subpoenaed for their information during the case, much like Steam was. Oh. Yeah.
I thought originally it seemed like Epic was going up against Google as well.
Yeah, it might have been. I think they might have resolved their end, though. I'm not sure. That part hasn't been coming up in the news. It's mostly just been the Apple side, so I'd probably have to dig pretty hard to find out information on that. It's not readily available.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Name tags.
Wild Dillard.
Hi.
Popped up.
What's up?
Well, that beard's getting bushy.
Is it?
Yeah.
I gotta cut this thing off. This is ridiculous.
Looking a little like Bluto.
I can't grow a mustache to save my life. So what are you guys talking about? Some sort of like lawsuit?
Court case? It's the same one we've been talking about, the whole Epic Games versus Apple lawsuit.
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
I think this is like third or fourth time we've brought it up on the program.
Yeah.
Fourth.
Yeah, and so it has to do with the way that Apple handles transactions on iOS through the iTunes Store, and Epic wants to sell things through the Epic app. And in fact, you can even still buy things through it because Epic shares stuff throughout all of their different stores. So if you were to pay money on the PC and have the Epic currency through buying it on the PC, you would still have the Epic currency on the store. But they wanted you to be able to buy it directly through the Epic app, the Epic launcher. And Apple was like, no, if you want to buy anything on iOS, you have to buy it through the iTunes Store. And there's a big lawsuit that's happened because of that.
Yeah, then Apple takes 30% of any of those sales.
Yeah. So essentially, if you want to sell something, Apple wants you to be exclusive to them.
Pretty much.
No. Well, no, it's not about exclusivity. It's just saying if your app is on iOS, any other DLC or in-app currency has to go through us so that we get our 30%.
Yeah, you have to buy it through the iTunes Store.
Oh.
Yeah. So as far as exclusivity, it's all purchases done on iOS have to be exclusive to iTunes.
Yeah. But I mean, if you can still play Fortnite and buy it through the Google Play Store or whatever.
Or even on your computer through the Epic launcher or anything like that.
Yeah, but then you can't bring that currency into the Apple version or the iOS version.
So essentially, if you start with Apple, you're screwed. You got to stay with Apple.
Yeah. Essentially.
I see.
Yep, that's what the whole. So
what are you gonna do?
Well, Epic's gonna take him to court, I guess.
The funny thing is, this probably won't be resolved through that lawsuit, though. It seems like there might be a different court case that has to do with the justification of laws coming up, and this whole thing might be resolved through legislative branches in different states or even at the federal level, thanks to this Arizona law that might be going through.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I used to have to deal with that back when I made apps.
Yeah.
Everything had to be through the Apple Store. They got their 30% one way or the other. So yeah, we were going to talk about the RPG if there's nothing else.
Well, Flit just brought up, I don't remember, did we talk about the possible GTA ban? Because I don't think we brought that up at all.
No.
Episode. I don't know if we brought that up on a previous one.
I knew about it. I don't remember if we talked about it, but
yeah, because they're
I haven't watched the last couple, so I don't know.
I feel like I might have mentioned it in passing that Chicago is looking into either Chicago or Illinois is looking into banning GTA 5 because of recent carjackings
Yeah, carjacking.
If we banned games because bad things happen in Chicago, no games would exist.
No, you know what? I think we did talk about this because I think I said the exact same thing. Carjackings have been going on since shortly after cars were invented. Like once they started becoming like readily available, people started jacking cars, and they're trying to blame a video game for it.
Mm-hmm. Which there's been how many million, dozens of studies to show that violence in video games does not lead to violence in real life.
Yeah, or just violence in media.
Be better. You gotta be better, Rockstar.
Yeah, like violence in media might lead to aggression. Like there are connections there, but aggression does not lead to violence. I mean, aggression can also lead to competition and stuff like that. They don't correlate.
Plit says Apple's a struggling small business. They need that 30% cut just to keep the lights on. I feel so bad for them.
What do you have against small businesses?
Yeah.
We're a small business.
Well, plus GTA 5 came out how long ago?
Oh god, like they haven't made a new GTA in a while. They just keep reprinting this one. They're starting to get into Skyrim syndrome.
Oh, speaking of small businesses, I got my logo finalized. You want to see it?
Sure.
It doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good for your listeners that don't have video.
Yeah, GTA 5 came out 7.5 years ago. It's still popular.
A recent
and one of the things
of carjackings from 7.5 years ago.
Yeah, right. Now, I actually looked into this, and it is like one of the top selling games of all time, ridiculously. It's like the third best selling game of all time, and they still sell like 1 million copies a month, which is crazy. But still, it has been out for 7 years. Whoa.
So there it is.
Very tool time.
Yeah, I wanted it to be more simple than what it was. I had to essentially stop listening to my wife and just do what I felt was correct.
Stop listening to your wife. That's always a good policy.
And this is going to be the actual signage. Will look like this in a version of this, but the other one is just for letterhead and stuff like that.
Oh, this is for that. This is for your side gig here, Living Solutions, huh?
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
Well, thank you.
Very woody.
Yeah,
yes, it's wood.
The kids who grew up playing GTA are just now getting old enough to act out what the game taught them.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I grew up playing GTA. I think a lot of people who were kids when the game first came out are probably on their way to 30, if not already in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Most people who do carjackings are between the age of like 14 and 25.
That is true. There are people in this room that may or may not have participated in a carjacking. You do it when you're young. And the thing is, when GTA, the first time I played a GTA game, it was that one where you had a little car and it was going like this. It was like an over the top view.
Downs? Yeah, it was one or two.
Yeah. It was really bad. I was like, this is a stupid game. I never played it again. I think I never touched that game until San Andreas came out. That was when the next time I played it.
He does. Just kidding. Foot says Dylan is not a lifestyle brand.
Are you done?
What do you think of
that? It's a lifestyle brand. Not unlike Marvel.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I found a great solution.
Did you?
You remember that problem I was having, right? Because I have these little tiny gram gold pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't find anywhere to put them. Well, I found out that there's a company called Valcambi, right? And they make these famous things called combi bars, which is like a brick that's been, bisected in a grid pattern, and you can snap off grams of gold off of it, right? It's for people that like to do like that prepper stuff. They think the world's going to end. They're going to barter in gold.
Yeah.
I just like it to have it as a savings.
Which gold would be a horrible thing to barter in if the world's going to end.
I think so. I think probably more likely, food and water and stuff.
Yeah. Or some precious metal that actually has some type of use to it if you were to actually break it down.
Like copper, and not even copper bars. Just buy a bunch of Romex and just store it. That's what you need.
Yeah, I think that defeats the purpose of bartering. Bartering is supposed to be about swapping things of use.
Yeah. But so I found these holders, right? There's a company, Valcambi, does these things called element cards, and they're like the size and shape of a regular credit card, except the bottom is a hard plastic, and the top has a clear plastic screen that you can pull back, slide back, and inside it has little areas that you can nest your little tiny gold pieces in, and you can close it up. You can even put it in your wallet. And the problem with that one is that they don't have they are specific for the Valcambi bars, right? They're ugly. They don't have any kind of flair style to them, which is why I don't like them. But I found out that they make another one for their 2.5 gram, which is the perfect size for my 1 gram Pamp Suisse. And I like the Pamp because the Pamp is like gorgeous. Like if you look at it, it's beautiful. It's like a proof finish, like a mirror finish, and then it has like this really nice etching of, they call it Lady Fortuna, and she has a blindfold and it's a side profile. It's gorgeous, So I was like, okay, so I got a couple of those, so I'm actually going to start transferring everything into those cards because I finally found the solution and I'm happy now. I just don't, when I collect something, I like to have a spot that's specifically for that thing, And I don't like the cards they come in, they changed them up, right? They used to have these old cards. And they were ugly looking, so you wouldn't really care if you took it out of the package or not. Some people might, I don't. But now the new cards are actually really nice. Like the new cards are primo, and they have this covering. You can take it off, and it looks brand spanking new. But I can't have half a collection of this and half of that, right? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Half of them in cool looking cards, half of them in a different kind of card. That's garbage. What the hell?
Yeah.
But everything's settled. And I feel better in my heart.
Well, that's what really matters.
It is.
Where are my stickers, Dillard?
They're on their way. Do you want your tracking number?
Yeah, sure.
Actually.
Actually, wearing the same pants. I was. Yep. No, that's Stater Brothers receipt. Hold on.
If you're gonna read it off, you're gonna have to write it down. Everybody else can track your package too.
No, you can.
You can all see the status of his package.
Somebody shows up and snipes it from him, like as the person drops it off, he just grabs it.
Yeah.
This belongs to me now. But there it is.
Spam by people in the chat saying, "Hey, tracking the package. It's not there yet."
They're saying, "Marsupial, go check your door. It should be there."
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, I also had another problem. Where can I find, I checked McMastercar, which is normally where you go to find these odds and ends. Because McMastercar is great because if you need a screw that's 3/4 inches, 8 inches long with a certain type of whatever, they have everything. Yeah. And you can order just one, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. McMastercar doesn't have, I need a grade 8 bolt that's at least 7, I can cut it down if it's longer, but it's at least 7 inches long and 3/4 inches thick. Right? And Lowe's don't have it. Home Depot don't have it. My Ace, my True Value don't have it. And I looked up, MasterCard, they don't have it. The only one I could find that's exact dimensions I need, but it's not grade 8, it's only grade 5. And I don't think I can, do that. Legally. I think legally, because it's part of the outside structure of the trailer, it needs to be a grade 8.
Is that the hardness?
Integrity. Like how much it.
Yeah, it's like heavy duty. It's super más fuerte.
It's very dense.
I'm surprised that you need something that they don't have at Lowe's.
Right?
Yeah. That's weird.
Well, I'm not doing something that is normally done. Is what the issue is. Because the thing is, I have this trailer, right? And I had to cut off the top part of this support system, right? Normally, the gate of the trailer goes up and down like this, you know?
Yeah.
And it has this support system. Now this top part is cut off. So it's kind of flopping in the wind, right? So what I need to do is I had a guy come over and he welded up a piece of angle iron flatwise. So now I need to put a bolt through that into the house and secure it from both sides to pull that gate structure taut up against the side of the unit, right?
Yeah.
But because it has to go through the wall of the house and also the 1/4 inch steel of the gate and also a piece of 3/4 inch plywood on the inside to give it extra support, it needs to be at least 7 inches long, which is pretty big for a grade 8 bolt that's 3/4 inches thick, you know?
Yeah.
They do exist. I've seen them, but I can't buy them.
Yeah, like,
I've seen there was a person selling them in a case of 200. I'm not gonna buy 200 of these things. I need 2.
I don't think I could get them. Maybe I could find them as low as a pack of 20, but I don't think you can get them any lower than like some type of bulk order.
But I don't want to even pay for 20 because, dude, the ones that are that big, the grade, they're like $7 a piece.
Yeah.
And if I get 20 of them, good lord.
Yeah, well, because they sell, that's like the lowest pack you can get for construction, right? And they're usually
right.
selling
And then I also need
like
the nuts and washers and bolts, you know?
Yeah.
Like just the nuts themselves are going to be $2.80.
Yeah.
Times 20? Good lord.
Yeah, and even then, most contractors, they'll order them at like the
I got
because you get a
problems.
better deal that way. And you know you're going to use them all eventually.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to use them all eventually if I get them because I'm not going to do it the same way again.
Yeah.
the second one I do. You know, I talked to this dude named Mo. He's a welder. He came over. He's part of this guy that I'm buying a new axle set for this new trailer that I got. Remember I told you I got that 20-footer? But originally it was on one of those mobile home axles.
Yeah.
One-time use. You know what I mean? And I wanted the double axle, you know, so I can move this thing around wherever I want. Plus it has 7,500 pounds per axle. You know, so I could build this thing as heavy as I want it. You know what I mean? I could put safes in there if I wanted to. It can handle that much weight. But the issue is, you know, the axles. But he came over and he was like super chill, right? He's a big old tall black dude. And he was like, and the whole time he would not stop talking about race problems. Like everywhere he goes, he's like, man, these guys, everywhere I go, I do my job. And then I get calls saying, hey, you welded up my buddy's, you know, whatever. And can you come? I heard that you were a good price. Can you come over? He's like, yeah, man, I come right over. He's like, wait a minute, are you a brother? And they hang up on him.
Oh no.
Man, why is
and I was like, well,
so
dude,
racist?
I was like, I got no sympathy, dude. I'm Mexican. Leave me alone. Come back when you have some real problems. But he's a super cool guy, so I saved his number because I'm going to be using him a lot because his boss is actually turning himself in next month. So he's going to be losing a line to, you know, some revenue. So if I can get him and have him work on my stuff, he's going to go to jail. You know how it is.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
you're in California. This doesn't surprise me at all.
Is he going to Orange County for that, or
To turn himself in?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't even know how that works.
I'm just saying.
I was over doing a mural for some guy, right? Over in Fontana.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a mural, and the guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm tired of running." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "So how does this work? So I just turn myself into you, or?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Don't F with me, man. I know you're a cop. I know you've been watching me." He's like, "You come here like every day. He's like, I ain't never seen you around here before." I'm like, "I'm here doing a mural. Leave me alone." I was like, "Matter of fact, give me $500. I'll leave you alone. How about that?"
Yeah, really.
And he's like, "Oh, you messing with me?" Oh, no. I don't know. People think I'm a cop when they see me. I don't know why.
Well, tell your friend, Theo Lacey is definitely not recommended, so don't go to Orange County. Don't ask me how I know that.
Now, yeah, he was telling me there was a group of them over there in Yucaipa. I was like, what the hell are they doing in Yucaipa? And he's like, man, they're all over. There's pockets of them. Because Yucaipa ain't nothing but dirt.
Yeah.
Pockets of cops or pockets of illegals?
Pockets of racist white people.
Okay.
Oh yeah, well that makes sense. Well, if your place is nothing but dirt, of course. I mean, that's where you're gonna find it.
That's right.
Is it?
I don't know. Actually, usually when I think of like the most racist people, I think of people who live in the inner city. So.
Oh, I've never run into so many racist people as when I went to New York. It's crazy. New York City, like, god damn, people are so freaking racist. It's ridiculous.
Well, of course, because in New York, everybody segregates by race. Like, they have their own neighborhoods and stuff like that. It's like, you're only going to breed race.
Just like prison.
I was astounded.
Yeah, honestly, the longer you talk to somebody, the more you're kind of like, yeah, maybe this guy's a little bit off. I don't know. I was in this truck stop. And you know how people in truck stops, these truckers, they just talk to anybody at length for hours because they're so lonely. I was in an Arby's, right? And I was just sitting there eating my terrible sandwich. And this guy's like, "You mind if I sit down?" I'm like, "Go for it." And again, there was like 4 people in the whole truck stop, you know? I'm like, "Go ahead." And he's like, "Man, let me tell you." He starts telling me this story. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm just listening because I'm eating." He's already finished. So he's just talking. And all of a sudden he goes, "And that brings me around to Martin Luther King. Let me tell you about that piece of trash." And I was like, "All right, I'm out of here."
You found a line and you crossed it immediately.
That's right.
I was like, "Don't tell me about Martin Luther King. I know what that piece of trash did to Chavez."
John, Rick is trying to say that maybe it's your glasses and beard that makes people think you're a cop.
Well, I didn't have this at the time.
Do you usually
I have this on right now. I didn't even have this on yesterday.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, as sunglasses, do you usually wear aviators?
Yes.
That's
I wear them. I wear them
shaven.
because they are, yes. I wear them because they are super duper light. I hate having something weigh on my nose. And I cannot wear a neck, even though I like necklaces. I can't wear a necklace. I can't have anything around here. Like this sweater is getting a little uncomfortable. I feel like I'm wearing like a suit or like a dress shirt that's been buttoned up too high. I feel like I'm wearing
it's got to be loose.
Cut a V. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And glasses, I love glasses. I need them because I have very sensitive eyes. And but the thing is, like, I never find a pair that I like. These are the only ones that are light enough. They don't bother me that much.
Yeah.
That's me.
So did y'all want to talk about the RPG?
For the last 10 minutes, we can catch Dillard up. I mean, you watched a lot of it, though, right? Or at least some of it. I saw you in the chat at one point in time.
I was in the chat, but I was at a family member's house, so I didn't actually have the volume. I didn't have the volume on. I was kind of in the,
Yeah. All right, so we can catch you up on what happened, since we usually do a little catch up the Vomitorium after the episode. And that's a good way to fill the last 10 minutes. So, they were still in the flooded plaza last time, for the people who've been paying attention, following along. The time before that, they had fought Gregory the Ancient, so they were kind of just recovering from that.
When all of a sudden, Booty, falls asleep again.
Yeah, he's become narcoleptic at this point. They were carrying his body around with them. They loaded it up on the back of Rick's Chocobo, so at least he wasn't being left behind. And they stumbled their way.
I saw that I was taken off the Chocobo and left.
Yeah, he left you on a higher floor. Yeah.
Yeah. Just clean and dry,
Probably
just wanted to check out
best, because they did end up in a boss fight.
Yeah, I should have been there to get that XP.
You probably would have been dead if your body was laying in that water when that happened. So there's actually it wasn't actually water. Yeah, that was the best part. I set up a trap for them this other boss fight, and you can't say I didn't give you plenty of warning either, because I said it several times. But they went down into another, like, one of those narrow hallways that had a drop off into a room. This drop off wasn't as big.
Like, I don't get it. I mean, the room is massive. It's a huge room.
Yeah.
And it's completely empty. Like, something's gonna be there.
Yeah, of course.
But the thing is, you don't know what it is. So how do you prepare? Just walk right in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. Just walk right in.
Yeah, that wasn't the trap, though, that they fell for. Right? So obviously there had to have been something that was going to happen. If there was going to be a boss or something, you knew it was probably going to spawn after you went in. I don't think anybody was surprised from that. There was writing on the back wall, so obviously you were going to go read it. Something was going to pop up afterwards. And out from underneath, once they went down the drop and everything, there was a pudding-type monster. It was an azure flan. And it turned out that the whole floor wasn't water, it was the body of the monster. It was just like liquidy pudding. Just very clear. And they got into a fight with it. And when they scanned the monster, and this is done intentionally, this is where the trap comes in. The monster, being a pudding, and in Final Fantasy, they're usually like super loaded with armor. It's hard to do physical damage to them. You're supposed to use magic. But it's resistant to all elements except for lightning, in which it's weak against lightning. And because there's an extension, which is a lightning amplifier put earlier in the dungeon, obviously it's like it's egging you on to shoot this thing with lightning. The problem is, even though you have to attack the main body to hurt it, the entire floor is this monster's body. So if you shoot it with lightning, you also hit everybody currently standing in the monster's body. That was the trap that they fell for. You could have whittled this thing down. It would have taken a long time, but it's like, no, it's
like, dude, did they fall for it? At it? Did they fall for it in the sense that they did it once and learned their lesson? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But I gave a play where, like, I said several times too, like, you're standing in its body, or like the whole floor is its body. Like I didn't. So when it turns like into came out of nowhere.
So it can like, because this is what I'm having trouble getting here. Like if it's like Terminator 2 style, like he's on the floor, right? This liquid metal guy. When he comes up from the floor, it's just a piece that. It's not the whole floor that comes up to become him.
Yeah. It's just this whole bit of mass that comes out of it.
Yeah, but still the whole floor was covered in the rest of his body.
Yeah.
Okay. So he could have gotten bigger.
I mean, potentially, sure.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
But I obviously didn't get that was going to happen. So, interestingly, I was standing just outside the room.
Yeah,
like
in the
doorway.
Up on the lip. That for the.
Yeah, because I didn't see any reason, and I was within range. So hit it with lightning, and with that extension, that hits for over 100 HP. And poor Flit and Rick, is that who else?
Yeah.
Well, Rick had auto float, so he wasn't affected by it.
Yeah, he wasn't affected by the
damage. It was me and Flit you almost killed with that.
Yeah.
Rick
I have
was
another
stuck
question.
down there, though.
Yeah, that was the real problem, is that Flit was way over on the other side. He can only move 3 spots at a time, so it took him a while to get out of there. Because then once we realized what happened, I couldn't cast lightning anymore until at least we got everyone up out of the room.
So is that the reason, or what is the reason, if I can ask, if we're done with that dungeon now?
Yeah, that dungeon's gone.
Yeah.
What is the reason the rooms were so far down below? Like walking level.
Oh, well, because the plaza was built into a lake, right? And this actually used to be like a society at one point in time. So technically, the ground floor was the one where the bosses were. That was the actual floor bed of the lake, and everything was built up from there and siphoned out. There actually used to be it was a trading center back in the day, but Greg, the guy that you fought, was woken up and killed everybody in the plaza, and it's just been overrun with monsters since then.
Okay.
Then we did also run into an interesting bar where a bunch of Sahogs were having drinks with the water elemental bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that when you went to the room and it was a little bar area.
The bar stuff was left over from the previous civilization. They were all pretending to be people.
Yeah, wasn't Travis able to actually intimidate a few of those Sahogs?
Yeah, I think he
run away?
got the last 2 to run away. Yeah.
So that
they didn't have any alcohol. It was just water.
It was just water.
Yeah.
They were just pretending to be people, to whatever their primitive understanding of people were.
Which upset Flit.
Because he wanted a drink?
Yeah, because apparently our party has driven our cleric into being an alcoholic.
Yes. So then we were all eager to get to the next town. I think he was eager to find the bar in the next town.
Yeah.
And then comes trap number 2.
Not an intended trap, but so like even a minute before this, there was a point where I said something. I can't remember exactly what I said, but Flit was like, "Yeah, but I'm not sure I should trust the GM." And I'm like, "No, you should never ever trust the GM." And like a minute afterwards, you guys were trying to figure out whether you should use a cottage or not to revive Rick. Yeah, and like I don't know if you guys want to waste a cottage on that. Like immediately after I told you not to trust the GM.
That's right. And we trusted you and said, no, we don't need to use a cottage. We don't need Rick. We'll just head off to the next town. It'll be fine.
Into the desert.
Yeah.
It's very much a Final Fantasy desert too.
Yeah. I thought maybe we wouldn't run into anything. Even though.
Well, I mean, the thing is, that's a double-edged sword. It's going to be one way or the other. Yeah. Like you don't trust the DM. You don't give the DM ideas. You don't do any of that. But at the same time, you don't trust him either way. Yeah. And then he's gonna get mad. The DM's gonna get mad and be like, "I told you not to do that." But but you're a filthy liar.
I'm not mad. I'm kind of sadistic on it. I want them to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the one thing I can't handle, because I'm a very immature person.
Yeah.
I can't handle somebody trying to tell me I told you so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and DMs will do that. They'll be like, "I told you this." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, shut the hell up. You're a filthy liar. I can't trust anything you say. Doesn't matter what you say. It's all a lie anyway." Yeah. Well, not this time. Well,
how are you supposed to know? That's the point, right? You want to bait them to a point that when you actually do tell the truth, they can't trust it.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's the
which is better, just overall for the game.
Yeah.
I don't like DMs dropping hints that are actually true. I don't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's the worst part, though. I knew what he was going to do.
With the desert?
But I didn't want to give that away, so I just suggested maybe we should revive Rick. Then just because he said, "Do you really want to waste a cottage on that?" We didn't. So we ended up getting into a fight where I'm the only tank left.
You should have said something. It's the players against the DM.
Yeah, you're not on my team.
You should have been more forceful, Travis. You should have
been like, "Hey, I know this guy's BS shenanigans, and let me put you up on them."
Well, here's the thing. I'm trying to weigh, my knowledge of Final Fantasy from the video games versus this game, and in retrospect, because in the video games, cottages are really hard to come by. They're extremely expensive, like ridiculously expensive, especially when you're at low level.
At least, early on they are.
Yeah, in this game, they're incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
So in the future, it's like, we'll buy 5-10 cottages and use them whatever we want. Sure. It's just like, I was just thinking in terms of, no, we don't want to waste it. But in retrospect, I'm like, no, actually, they're really cheap. Like, we should have just wasted it.
Well, we ended up going to the next town anyway, right? Where even if they didn't have cottages, you at least could have bought more tents, right? And it's like, you really just need to get to that town.
Yeah, but I forgot how inexpensive they are, and I'm looking at my money and thinking, I need to save up every last dime because I want to get better weapons and armor and stuff. But not remembering that they were, what are they, like $200 or something? 200 gil?
They are 500.
500, well, that's not that much.
The way to remember is that I have it set up to where they cost the same as the HP they give you, so it's like 1 gold per HP. So cost effectively, the MP is free.
Yeah, and tents are like 250, right?
They're 100. They give you 100 HP. You get 100 gold for it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, 100. Whereas like in most of the games, a tent would be like 500, and a cottage would be like 5,000.
Yeah.
So anyway, we ran into some interesting.
So what happened in the desert that was so treacherous?
Well, first thing, they ran into 4 cactar. And if anybody knows anything about cactar, while not all of them always have the 1,000 needles move, Cactuar typically do stuff that ignores armor or magic armor. They kind of just end up doing raw damage to you, and these all did. And at one point...
Not to mention, they attack... Whenever you attack them, you get hurt, because of course you're...
Yeah, they return damage.
Hitting... Yeah, they were every
But,
hit,
like,
even a
any
magical
distance too. Like if you hit them,
even a
the
magic
needles
or
just
an
pop
arrow
off.
hit.
Yeah, the needle just pops off at you.
Yeah,
That's terrible and stupid.
That's just how Cactuars work.
yeah. Plus, for some reason, I had to roll to see if my magic hit.
Oh yeah, because they have Evader. So
Yeah.
even things that automatically hit, now you have to do a basic chance of success roll against it, and anything that normally is a chance of success gets halved.
Yeah.
So if, like, even Dillard, the way we
So-
have the rolled stuff, if he wanted to roll for a punch rush, he would actually have to do a quarter of the threshold. He probably would never hit it.
Yeah.
I still have not gotten a satisfactory explanation about how the threshold works. It's terrible. I don't think it's right. I think he's cheating when he does it.
Well, the game tells you the threshold itself.
Except sometimes it has to be half.
Yeah,
and I don't always know.
Well, the reason why we half it for the punch rush is because if it was the same threshold for your attack, why would you ever attack as opposed for doing something that does like twice the amount of damage?
But the normal. I mean, that's fine. I'm just saying that the normal punch rush, though, there is no threshold.
Yeah.
Right.
If you just do it normally, it automatically hits. So why would I give you the chance to crit on something as well if I'm not going to make it harder for you to hit?
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
Fine for me, anyway. I don't know if it's fine for Dillard.
Did we ever get to the next town?
Yeah, they made it to Clement Bay. After fighting 4 Cactuar and 3 sandworms. They did get kind of lucky. They only had 2 mobs on the way.
A sandworm?
3 sandworms.
Yeah, they were huge.
Yeah, at the same time.
They weren't that hard, though. They were a lot easier than the Cactuar.
Yeah.
Were they tough?
Because they
You guys
didn't
have good
attack
armor, that's
back.
the real reason.
Or they didn't do the retaliate or whatever it's called.
Well, they do hurt more than the Cactuar do if you don't have your armor, because the Cactuar's attack's really low, they just ignore your armor. So like a 22 roll versus say like a 40 roll, but you guys have armor that's like in the 30s, close to 40, so that's almost like nothing, while the 22 is still 22 regardless.
I got 7 armor.
Yeah.
I know. So
like,
we were talking about
devastate him.
Yeah, we were talking about, like, as long as Booty is asleep, maybe we should buy him some armor and, like, start putting it on him while he's asleep, so he'll just wake up.
No, I was thinking about doing that the next town because I can't handle this whole one hit and I'm dead garbage.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have plenty of opportunity because they're still in the town. Right before we stopped, they did actually... So the cool thing about this town is this town has, like, very set subquests, like there's a bulletin board and stuff that you guys can look at. A lot of the towns have things like that. And this one has 2 subquests and 3 bulletin board things posted. And the bulletin board is basically just kill quests. It's like, kill this number of things, bring the stuff from it to this person, and you get a reward. And the one of the side quests they can't really do yet, but they wrote down, which was to go to Clearborn, which is on the other continent. That's where you're going to be going after this chapter anyway, and bring back some of their patented clear brandy. It's brandy that you can see straight through. And bring a case of that
Flit
back.
got drunk.
Flit did wildly drunk, like belligerent. He was like hugging lovey-dovey on people the whole time.
Should we be worried about Flit?
Yeah, well, at least his character, yeah. Barovo seems to be going.
No, I mean, like, Flit the
path.
person. This guy's exhibiting a lot of worrisome traits.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about Flit. I am kind of worried about his character.
It's like that episode of the Community with the D&D version of that.
Oh, yeah, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Fat Eric or whatever his name was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Burvo's mental health. He seems to be losing it.
I really want to buy a
seen
pair
some
of
shit.
these sunglasses, but like the real ones, like the Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I just break and lose sunglasses so often, I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, I can't spend more than like $5 on sunglasses.
Well, I think these were 9.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I got these from a gas station while I was getting gas.
But yeah, so right before we stopped which we could have went a little bit longer, because I was given bad information. We had a time limit, because I was supposed to go help my mom with something. It's like, oh, no, I didn't mean from 6 to 8. I meant from 8 to 10.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Did you strike her across the chin?
No, because even when I got there, it turned out she didn't need me anyway. I just turned back, and I didn't sleep the night before, so I went to sleep like as soon as I.
Man, don't you hate people like that? Golly.
Yeah.
The whole let me cover all my bases kind of people.
Yeah. It's like you know I've got schedules and stuff.
You gotta have a little bit of humility. Like, you know, I'll tell them, I'll let you know 100% for sure by this time. If not, I'm not gonna call you.
Yeah.
If I told you, hey, never mind, don't worry about it, I'm not gonna call you back and be like, hey, I made a mistake, come help me. I'm gonna do it myself because I already told you. I'm not gonna inconvenience you to that extent.
Yeah, and
that's something only parents do.
My mom is
and Piper
handicapped. She basically she's got a lame leg, right? So she's kind of crippled. She needs help, but like a friend of me and my brother's that he's known forever, Tyler, was over there, and he's like, oh no, I can help her. It would have been nice if you sent me a message saying you didn't actually need me to come over here.
Yeah.
Like maybe even hours ago, I would have just gotten it on my phone and be like, oh, hey, we don't have to cut the session short after all or whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But so
I feel kind of bad, right? Because my mom lives over there.
Yeah.
She lives about a good, 20 minutes away. And she lives in an older folks community.
Yeah.
Of apartments. And she'll be like, hey, I need you to help me. I got a bed. I need you to help me take the bed upstairs and set it up in the room and build the frame and all that. I'm like, okay, I'll be there. I don't want to go. It's a waste of my day. But, she's old and she's my mom. I got to go do it. But the thing I love about it is she'll call me and be like, hey, I got the neighbor's son is here. He's going to help me do it. I was like, oh, fuck, hell yeah. But at the same time, I'm thinking, that's my mom. I should be like, no, I'm going to go do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I really don't want to go.
Well, like, it's even easier for me.
Really
my mom, at the moment, which she's actually going to be moving real soon, but at the moment, she is literally right down the street from me. Like, on the same street, I could just walk down there. Right? But I've got stuff to do. So, like,
with no shoes, you would walk over there.
I'd walk almost anywhere with no shoes. But yeah, I would walk down there with no shoes. But I'm telling you, like, I've got stuff to do. I want to help you, but you need to be sure that I'm helping you so it doesn't, like, take away from our schedule. Even if we're hanging out, let me know in advance. I'll hang out with you for a couple hours, but we got to plan this so I can make sure I don't have other things to do at the time or anything like that. And she's just always
Marsupial. Did you know this guy don't wear no shoes when he walks places?
Yes, I've heard. I've heard this. I couldn't do that.
Strong arches and heels because of it too.
I have high arches. That's actually why I need to wear very supportive shoes, because I have high arches.
My high arches are why I don't wear shoes. Yeah, I like.
My kid got my arches. My kid has barely visible arches. She got my arches.
Oh yeah, my brother's like that too. He's basically flat-footed.
I'm
not flat-footed. I just have really low fallen arches.
Yeah, no, I got
like a woman who's been pregnant many times.
Due to my arch is very rigid. It's very high and rigid, so that gave me shin splints from jogging in college. So.
That's why I wear those Chuck Taylor shoes, because they're the most comfortable for me to walk around in.
Yeah.
If I'm just standing there, like if I'm standing on an assembly line, yeah. If I'm standing, like I used to work at Amazon, right, packing and stuff. If I'm just standing there for a long time, I need something with a lot of cushion. Like a Reebok or what do they call them? The Nike, those big old fat tennis shoes they used to wear in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like something like that. That's what I need when I'm standing for a long time. But if I'm walking like at Disneyland or something, I need to wear like something with very small soles.
Well, I don't like any cushion if I can avoid it. Like I've got a pair of sneakers, but I hardly ever wear them. One of the problems is it's not the arch support. It's the cushion in the heel, which is like probably one of the worst things they ever added to a shoe. It seems like it helps you, but it actually makes your feet weaker. And it also causes you to slam your heels into the ground when you walk. Like, it changes your posture
I've heard
when
that,
you have cushioned heels.
I just don't think that human beings were made and put on this earth to stand on concrete for 12 hours.
No, no, they weren't.
You know?
Because even,
I need something to cushion, a little cushion.
There are people who, like, rocks, they evolved on rocky terrains, but rocks are uneven, right? It's not flat. So your foot kind of, like, naturally curves around rocks when you're standing on rocky terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I noticed that. Since I was little, I used to not wear shoes everywhere. I would run everywhere with no shoes. And as soon as I started wearing shoes religiously, then I couldn't go outside barefoot no more. It was,
you have
too
to
much.
condition your feet. Yeah, but so let's wrap up the subject. Right before they split off, they did meet an NPC named Delia Strafford. And
no, it said Dana on the map.
It does say Dana on the map.
Yeah, that was wrong.
No, it's correct.
Anyway. Oh, okay.
Anyway, so they met Delia Strafford, and she is basically contracting them to do an escort quest, kind of like, a video game where you have to take somebody from one point to another. And, yeah. No, not that kind
of. The old Earthworm Jim whipping the dog. I hate escort quests.
Well, so you have to take her all the way to Penn's Reach, which is at the bottom part of the continent. It's pretty far away. There's another town in between there. But when you get there, she will give you 50,000 gil to split amongst the party.
It's not enough. I'm telling you right now, it's not enough.
I don't know if I trust that she's actually going to give that to us. That seems like a lot to me.
Oh, she'll give it to you.
Let's just kill her. Let's kill her in the desert and take the money.
That's right.
Well, she doesn't have it on her. It's at the bank in the town. Like the nearest bank.
Get out of here!
Yeah.
I'll give you the money when we get to the place. Get out of my face.
Yeah, well, because it's her dad's money.
Mm-hmm. She's a purple-haired, weirdo.
She's a liar and a cheat. She's gonna do us in. We don't trust her. We kill her in the desert.
I mean, that's up to you. You could try to kill her in the desert.
We should kill her in the desert.
First, you need to get armor. Unfortunately, this place doesn't have the best stuff, but does it
have stuff that's better than 7 armor?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
It has stuff that's way better than 7 armor.
I mean, the only way I'll be dissuaded from buying good armor with every cent that I have is if they also have a better gauntlet there.
Oh, they do. I'm fairly certain they. Well, no, actually, they probably just have the same one that you have. If I think about it.
Frankly, I will give you gil that you don't have to pay back if you need it to buy better armor.
I ain't no beggar on the streets.
You can actually look at the shop. That's something I added. I added shop menus for towns you've already been to because I figured out how the handouts work. So even without going into the app, you could just go to the site, before you hop in. And there's a journal drop down that gives you access to everything that's in your journal. You could just look at what's in the shop for Clement Bay. It's just right there. You could plan ahead.
That's cool.
So if I go into Roll20 right now, I can go to a shop?
You could just look at the shop, yeah.
I don't believe you.
You can look. It's there.
I'm looking. I'm not taking your word for it. You're a filthy liar.
Yeah, but at this moment, I'm not playing DM. I'm just telling you things that are accessible. So when we're in the game, you can't trust me.
You know how you are.
I do know how I am. Probably better than anybody else does. But yeah, so that's what you guys are doing next time, is you're going to be escorting Miss Strafford across the desert.
You guys agreed to that?
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Whose bright idea was that? Piper's?
Well, it was basically...
It was the leader's idea.
Well, it was basically either that or just run around the desert just hoping to run into certain creatures to kill a bunch of them for some rewards. Because the only other
But we do have cars.
What?
We do have cars, right? In this world?
Cars do exist. You have not come across a car yet, or somebody who sells them.
Oh, so we all can't get like Mad Max cars in the desert?
No. You have not.
Right, how do I?
Across anyone
I'm
that
here
sells
at Roll20. How do I get to a shop menu?
Let me actually pull up Roll20 so I can navigate you. I'm trying to remember where exactly it is. There's a drop down.
Is it town info?
Yeah. Under the town info list, there is
I see Clement Bay armor. Okay.
Yeah.
What is this? 0000.
Well, do you want to wrap up, Metal?
Yeah. Well, this is it. I can help Diller with anything afterwards if he still wants to look at stuff. But thanks for coming to the Vomitorium. We finished up the subject, and if you want to support the show, right now the only way I've set up is my PayPal. You can PayPal me directly. Just mention it's for the Vomitorium. It'll go to the right place at paypal.me/I'mADemetal. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.